This beautiful day during COVID-19, and it's easy to forget the other pandemic, which is an addiction pandemic, whether it's opioids or alcohol or eating disorders. And this poem is in honor of my daughter, and I have her permission to share this poem. And it is set in a labyrinth. We made this labyrinth, my wife and I, last year at the beginning of COVID, and it kind of is a perfect setting for this poem. Walking the labyrinth, early days of her recovery. Bulimia, a word to keep quiet in the mouth, a word for a father to stand alone inside. Like a labyrinth he enters with nothing to find but the girl he knew before she learned the music bile sings off key inside a throat. Before it bent a girl in two, priestess and victim, praying over her altar. Priestess and victim praying over her altar, pristine white. Before his helplessness, the weight a red towel holds, soaking wet with white flecks, she will not explain. No way in but on a slant. The path goes left, doubles back. First circles the bullseye it wants to reach. He follows it in. His eyes look down at the path. It gnaws away at last year's leaves, just hunger finding its homeward road. In each turn, he swallows shadows and the sound of falling inside rain as it begins. And he hears inside it a line from an old poem. The small rain down can rain. But not small this rain, as down it falls, as nails, as cats and dogs. It never fails. The day he forgets his coat, the heavens open. He is soaked through. Rain enough to come alive in, rain enough for his youngest daughter to exult in, the way she used to, running out as it poured in buckets, making a ruckus, reaching up to her toes, to a sky, hung just to be unhooked in her eyes. As she danced, arms outflung, wild and free. That girl, when she was 3, free from any sounds of throwing up. But she's not here. And he, alone, no Theseus, walks and turns inside a labyrinth, unsure, looking for signs on the path to guide him home. When the spring comes, I'm just so aware of the green everywhere where we live on 3 acres. And particularly in this, what we call the Grove, where our labyrinth is, and where we have a statue of the goddess of compassion. And this is often a place where I will come and meditate and sometimes even write here. This is a poem celebrating this place. Green Hymn. This green-eyed day and cold abating, this green idea tied tight inside spring. The idea of it was always there. The possibility always there. Yet, why do I wear despair as my own naked skin? Why not remember green, green under everything? Why not remember green, green under everything? Yet why do I wear despair as my own naked skin? The possibility always there. The idea of it was always there. This green idea tied tight inside spring. This green-eyed day and cold abating. This poem takes on the form of a villanelle. And one of the most dramatic examples of this kind of poem was written by the American-Canadian poet Elizabeth Bishop. And there are some echoes of her famous villanelle, One Art, in this poem. This poem was inspired by a quote by the actor Gabriel Byrne, and it starts with an epigraph, a little quote of his. Home in the Cowichan Valley. I realized that the landscape doesn't belong to you, and what you think of as home doesn't belong to you. What you do own is the memory. Gabriel Byrne. This landscape was never mine to call my own. So many places I have traveled and never thought as mine. All I own is the memories. I know the names of the trees here: thorn apple, katsura, Japanese maple, Gary oak. But this landscape was never mine to name my own. I have walked these acres, watched trees bend to breaking point, heard many fall. But all this means little. All I own is the memories. I wait in March for the day the frogs begin again to sing, and I hear herons cronking. The landscape was never mine to name my own. I have had title to many lovely houses. Others live in them all but one. I don't care. They don't have title to my memories. All the same, when I look out my kitchen window and tell myself these realms aren't mine to keep, and this landscape was never mine to call my own, I wish this lived in me as more than memory. I wish this lived in me more than just memory. As a precursor to spring and the green, I wait for the sound of the frogs. And sometimes they'll come as early as in February, as they did this year, and in sometimes and often in March. And this poem is in honor of my mentor, Patrick Lane, who had such an influence on so many writers and poets here on Vancouver Island. And he died just about 2 years ago, and this poem is in his honor, and it has an epigraph, a quote from him that was on CBC Radio the day after he died, March 7th, 2019. This is called March, a poem for Patrick. Poetry will always be there. People will always sing. Patrick Lane. This, the month the frogs come back, they're singing. They aren't back yet. The cold days, their white music. It steals breath and bite from the barks of old dogs and silences all the tongues of the Quamption Marsh frogs. You loved them, their singing, laughed and said, it's all about sex. Now, this silence, it seems all about death. And in the marsh we walked to once, outcast angels, 7 herons stand, each on 2 legs, their sword beaks deathly, still, waiting, listening for underwater songs. And I would, if I knew prayer's music, pray those songs would stay quiet long enough to test the patience of death and cheat it like you did for so long, even as you kept singing. Now, your silence, the frog silence, all the new songs I must learn to sing. Well, these blue chairs aren't quite as blue as they used to be when I wrote this poem. And but you can see that there still is some blue. This is a special place for us to sit in summer mornings by this little pond here. And this is my tribute to blue chairs. Just a blue chair. Muskoka, Adirondack, wooden chair, 2 arms, 4 feet, no shoes, no hands, blue chair, blue chair. Stare all you want, blue chair goes nowhere, won't blush, go red when you stare. Doesn't care, isn't a river, a road, a field full of gold, wheat, isn't a problem, equates to nothing else. Blue chair, blue chair, blue chair. This isn't Tender Buttons by Gertrude Stein. No, not the Steinway. Not Napoleon. I never knew Picasso. Stein did. She never met me. Richard. Sitting on a blue chair. Sitting, waiting for a muse, a mood, and liking blue. Period. But could it be a chair's a way to heaven? Why not? Sometime thrown, color of indigo, blue the color of saints and old icons. Do you want to be blue, become a saint too? Cool blue imagine, blue beyonder, Mary, as in Madonna? Or would you prefer Madeline, no chair, kneels, her hair a carpet, for you know who, Jesus? How did I get here from there? Simple blue chair. No saint blue, just me sitting, Richard. No sitting on the right hand or left hand of anything. Nothing ineffable, nothing ineluctable. Blue chair doesn't resemble me. No blue chair inside me. No blue, ineffable, inside, outside, holding me. Richard sits on his blue chair. Blue chair. Blue chair. Richard sits on his blue chair. Blue chair.